Shalom. Shaba to 7 oneself. That's the title of this broadcast. Now, as I study the Bible more and learn more, it's often confusing how closely we are to follow the words of the Bible, how much we are to be literalists for the word of the Bible, fundamentalists. Which is something I've been guilty of myself, and quite easy to do out of zeal for the issue, to get it right. However, I find that many stories of the Bible illustrate even great kings that were willing to overlook the letter, the so-called letter of the law, the literal translation of the law, for the spirit of the law. And it seems that this is done to bring praise to the Most High. And so we're going to take a look at Second Chronicles 30. And we're going to see that even the great King Hezekiah was willing to make exceptions for the people of Israel so that the issue might be praised. And we see here verse 18, for a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves. Yet did they eat the Passover, otherwise than it was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, the good Lord pardon every one. You see, thank goodness that Hezekiah wasn't a strict literalist for the words of the Bible, because we see that he prepared them. He prayed for them. He prayed for them. The good Lord pardon every one that prepareth his heart to seek the issue of his fathers, though he be not cleansed according to the purification of the sanctuary. And the issue hearkened to Hezekiah and healed the people. And the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the issue day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the issue. And Hezekiah spake comfortably unto all the Levites that taught the good knowledge of the issue. And they did eat throughout the feast 7 days, offering peace offerings and making confessions to the issue, God of their fathers. And the whole assembly took counsel to keep other 7 days, and they kept other 7 days with gladness. For Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 7,000 sheep, and the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep, and a great number of priests sanctified themselves. And all the congregation of Judah with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that came out of Israel, and the strangers that came out of the land of Israel, and that dwelt in Judah, rejoiced. So there was great joy in Jerusalem, for since the time of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, there was not the like in Jerusalem. Then the priests, the Levites, arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard, and their prayer came up to the holy dwelling place, even unto heaven. So we see that Hezekiah was willing to overlook the shortcomings of the people, the mistakes of the people, the uncleanliness of the people, the ceremonial uncleanliness of the people. And he prayed for them, and the issue did accept them. So that's a good example for somebody like me. As I study the Bible, I'm often, again, looking toward a strict interpretation, but we see that even Hezekiah was willing to overlook that. And we're going to see about 7ing oneself. We're going to go to Jeremiah 12 and 16. Or even 14 here. Thus saith the Ishi against all mine evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out off of the land, and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass, after I pluck them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear, Shaba, to be complete, but used only as a diminutive form, to 7 oneself. That is to swear, as if by repeating a declaration 7 times, adjure, charge, take an oath, with an oath, feed to the full. To swear by the name, the Ishi liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal. Then they shall be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck and destroy that nation, says the Ishi. 7 oneself. To enter into a covenant. To enter into a covenant. Some interesting information about covenants I'm going to show you after one more biblical reading here. I'm going to go to Genesis 21 and 22. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. I will 7 myself. Shaba. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it but today. And Abraham took a sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba. Before there they swear both of them. Thus made they a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Pichol the chief captain and his hosts, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Ishi, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. And why not? Why not? White slavery is biblical. We're going to go to Joshua 9. What was it, 15? Joshua made peace with them and made a league with them to let them live. And the princes of the congregation swore unto them. And it came to pass at the end of these days, after they had made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they dwelled among them. And the children of Israel journeyed and came unto their cities on the third day. Now the cities were Gibeon, Sephriah, and Beeroth, and Kirath-Jearim. And the children of Israel smote them not, because the princes of the congregation had sworn to them by the Lord of Israel. And all the congregation murmured against the princes. But all the princes said unto all the congregation, We have sworn unto them by the Ishi, God of Israel. Now therefore we may not touch them. This we will do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us, because of the oath which we swore unto them. And the princes said unto them, Let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation, as the princes had promised them. And Joshua called for them, and he spake unto them, saying, Wherefore have you beguiled us, saying, We are very far from you, when ye dwell among us? Now therefore ye are cursed, and shall none of you be freed from being bondmen and hewers of wood and drawers of water for the house of my God. And they answered Joshua and said, Because it was certainly told thy servants how the Ishi thy God commanded his servants Moses to give you all this land, and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore we were sore afraid of our lives because of you, and have done this thing. And now behold, we are in thy hand, as it seemeth good and right unto thee to do to us. Do. And so did he unto them, and delivered them out of the hand of the children of Israel, that they slew them not. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and jars of water for the congregation, and the altar of the Ishi unto this day, in the place which he should choose. This is a little something, a lot of Christian doctrine in here. However, we read from the top part of the understanding of why this mystery can be found in understanding of covenant, which is the vehicle by which a man and a woman are established a lifelong faithful relationship with which physical sexual interaction is meant to operate. Covenant is also the fundamental tool that God has designed to construct and order his relationship with man. Dr. Scott Hahn, whose research I'll be sharing with you in this article, notes that a covenant is an exchange of persons as opposed to a contract, which is an exchange of promises. Covenants are established by making an oath that creates kinship between the two who are making the covenant. I'm going to skip over that. The Hebrew word for oath is Shaba, meaning to seven oneself, not Shaba. In Genesis 21, Abraham makes a treaty with Abimelech using 7 ewe lambs, and they call the place Beersheba, which means the place of the oath, or the well of the sevens. If you do not have an oath, you do not have a covenant. Another word for Hebrew oath is I raise my hand. See Deuteronomy 32:40 FF. When we raise our hands in worship, for example, we're swearing an oath. We lift up God's name when we invoke God's name in an oath. Making an oath is to call upon the power of the Ishi to bind Satan and evil. It is a mystery of drawing down the presence of the Ishi and engaging God for help and power so that we can do whatever it is we are pledging to do. Hahn quotes the Old Testament Professor Barker, who noted, the cosmic order is restored by means of an oath. The oath is by means of creating order. It is a means of binding the fallen spirits who operate through nature in order to make them serve a higher purpose. To be initiated into the oath according to the Jewish outlook gives great power. It enables the initiate to summon and bind spirits in service by means of the even greater name whose authority he uses. When the great oath was broken, referring to Adam's and the fall, the system began to collapse. The name of the son of blah, blah, blah. And to skip down here, another Hebrew term is to put oneself under a curse. In order to receive God's blessing, we are therefore placing ourselves under a curse to be damned if we don't keep our part of the oath. I'm going to finish up there. Peace and blessings and love and shalom.